faithfully
the
execute the
law
laws of the
of the
United
United
States
States
and of the District of Columbia,
and of
and
the
of the
District
District
of
of
Columbia,
Columbia,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and
and
will to
will
the
to the
best
best
of
of my
my
ability
ability
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States
preserve
preserve, defend, and protect the
and
United States Constitution
the Constitution of the United States. Got there.
and the District of Columbia Home Rule Act,
And
and
the
the District
District
of
of
Columbia
Columbia
Home Rule
Home
Act,
Rule
and will faithfully discharge
and will
and will
faithfully
faithfully
discharge
discharge
the duties of the office I am about to enter.
the
the
duties
duties
of the
of the
office I'm
office
about
and
to
the
enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Thanks, commissioners. Have a great meeting. See you next time.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Bye.
So just before we get started, just as an administrative matter, so Commissioner Newland, Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Hawker, you should have received an email from the OANC. Now that you've been sworn in, sign it, send it back to the office of the OANC, and they will meet, or they will coordinate getting the council member signature on the oath. So if you have any issue, please let me know. Commissioner Hawker, I sent it to your personal account, and after you mentioned you didn't have access, I pinged the OANC. They said that they'll turn it around, turn on your email access pretty quickly. So
Sounds
you
good.
should be kind of good to go pretty soon. All right. Well, everybody, welcome. Let's go ahead and get started. Commissioner Jacobson, do we have everything set up and ready to go?
Yep, we're live on YouTube.
Awesome. All right.
And
well, with
recording
that,
is in progress. Okay, good. Sorry, I was just making sure the recording was in progress.
You're great. Thank you. All right. I now call the meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. I'm sorry, 7:03 p.m. Welcome to ANC 1E's January General Body Meeting. First, let me start sharing my screen and the agenda, and then I'll go through my spiel. All right. Can everybody see the agenda?
Yep.
Great. Alrighty. A few administrative notes. Today's meeting is being recorded. Closed caption is available for each user by clicking the button on the toolbar below. Please submit questions through the Q&A function also located on the toolbar below, and commissioners will be keeping an eye on the Q&A throughout the evening. If you're calling in rather than participating through the web, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. I'll now ask Secretary Jacobson to please conduct the roll call.
Thank you, Chair Footer. Commissioner Howard.
Here.
Commissioner Howard is here. Commissioner Grant.
Here.
Commissioner Grant is here. Commissioner Hawker.
Here.
Commissioner Hawker is here. Commissioner Brown.
Here.
Commissioner Brown is here. Commissioner Newland.
Present.
Commissioner Newland is here. Commissioner Jacobson, that's me. I'm here. And Commissioner Footer.
Present.
All right, that's 7 out of 7 seated commissioners, and we have a quorum.
Great, thank you very much. All right, per DC law, the ANC 1E meeting was noticed to the community via listserv, social media website, and e-calendar. Moving to the approval of the minutes, of the agenda. I'm going to quickly run through our agenda for today. So we will start off with the consent agenda, which I will read those items when we get to the consent agenda. Then we'll move over to community announcements, where we have one special guest from Howard University and our two standing members from the DC government. Then we'll go to official business, where it's broken down by our committee structure. We have one resolution under consideration today under Transportation and Public Space Committee, which is chaired by Commissioner Jacobson, excuse me. And then we will go to electing officers and appointing committee chairs and other appointments. Are there any additions or edits to the agenda? All right. Seeing or hearing none, I'll now accept a motion to approve the agenda as is.
I move with unanimous consent that we adopt the agenda as written.
Is there any dissent? All right. Hearing none, motion passes and the agenda is adopted. Thank you. All right, now moving to the consent agenda. So just a reminder, all matters listed under consent are considered by the commission to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. Any commissioner may, however, remove an item from the consent agenda by request. If we move it to from the consent agenda, we'll move it to official business because there may be some questions or we may want to review something in particular. And so today, under the consent agenda, going through the items, we have approval of the December 2024 ANC meeting, approval of ANC 1E's FY25 quarter one financial report, approval of ANC 1E's public meeting calendar for 2025, which we were required to review and approve during our first general meeting of the month or of the year. Then approval of amendments to our standard operating procedures, which everybody did receive a copy for review. And then approval of the commission to purchase business cards through Basecamp in the amount of $500. Are there any consent agenda items that people would like to move from the consent agenda to official business for further review? All right. Hearing none, I will now accept a motion to approve or adopt the consent agenda.
I move with unanimous consent that we adopt the consent agenda.
All right, is there any dissent? All right, hearing none, the consent agenda the motion passes and the consent agenda items are approved. All right, community announcements. So we'll start with, commissioners and members of the community can use this time to make public announcements, distribute information, or alert the community about particular issues. We'll start with a special guest today. Ms. Layla Jackson Bates is joining us to introduce and provide an overview of Howard University's Wonder Plaza in preparation of upcoming zoning applications. Ms. Bates will have 5 minutes to present. Then we'll take questions from commissioners and the public. After our special guests, we'll move to commissioners, then move to Councilmember Brianne Nadeau's office, then the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services, also known as MOKers, then members of the public. For members of the public, all speakers, or excuse me, before I say that, all speakers will have 3 minutes. If you're here to speak on an issue or a topic under official business, please hold until we get to that agenda item later in the meeting. We will make sure that members of the public have the opportunity to weigh in and ask questions on official business. So with that, if we can promote Ms. Bates.
She's being promoted to panelist.
Great, thank you very much. All right. Good evening, Ms. Bates. How are you?
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Commissioner,
Would you like? Yeah, please, go ahead.
if you could also elevate Chloe Kusky and Liati Cole, they're the Gray Star, who's the developer for this project. I'll be doing the presentation, but I did want to acknowledge that they're on.
Great.
I've promoted Liati and Chloe to panelist.
Okay, great.
Thank you. And Ms. Bates, you're going to share something, so I'll stop sharing my screen.
Yes.
Great.
So let me see. For the record, Lila Batiste with the law firm of Holland and Knight. And it's okay.
Thank you for correcting me.
And I know my colleague Chris Cohen is also on. But I'm here this evening to advise the ANC and the community that an application for the redevelopment of the Wonder Plaza site located at 2301 Georgia Avenue has been filed with the Zoning Commission. The application number is 20-08B, and it was filed on November 27th by an affiliate of Gray Star on behalf of Howard University. And so Chloe and Liati are the representatives from Gray Star that are leading this project. So the project, I'm going to just share my screen now. Okay, so this is just the cover sheet from the plans, and I'm going to just run through very quickly. This is the site.
If you are sharing
oh.
your screen, we cannot see it
Oh, you
yet.
can't? Oh, sorry. Sorry. Okay, let me go back. So this is just a rendering from the cover set of the application, the architectural plans that were filed with the zoning commission. For those who may not be familiar, I think most everybody is. This is the site currently. This is an excerpt from the campus master plan. So I wanted, before I show the proposed building in more detail, it is part of the is a building that was programmed in Howard's campus master plan that was approved by the zoning commission in 2020. And this is the building here. And then these are some renderings from the architect's plans. WDG is the architect for this project. So with that, I'll just note that this is a mixed-use building consisting of approximately 10,000 square feet of retail, 80,000 square feet of health and wellness, so a health and wellness center, a 6,400 square foot dining center, and student housing of approximately 592 beds. So again, all university uses programmed within the campus master plan. So in terms of the nature of the application before the zoning commission, because the project was already incorporated into the approved campus plan, the application before the zoning commission is called a further processing of the campus master plan. And so what it essentially is like a design review at the zoning commission, by the zoning commission to demonstrate that the project is in compliance with the approved programming under the campus plan. So again, we filed the application on November 27th. Our public hearing is scheduled for May 5th. And so we're doing this brief presentation tonight, but we will go before the Zoning and Economic Development Committee for a full presentation with our project team on February 12th. We'll come back to the ANC for a formal vote after review by the Zoning and Economic Development Committee. So that concludes my presentation this evening. Of course, we're available to answer any questions that you may have.
And commissioners, Howard University was gracious to offer to come and just give a quick introduction today, more out of respect that we have a number of new people, and just kind of offer a prelude to what we're going to be doing in the next couple of months. So as mentioned, Mr. Michael Ray, who chairs the Zoning and Economic Development Committee, has scheduled a more in-depth presentation to go through all the design plans, all of the pieces that are appropriate with respect to their zoning application. And so on February 12th at 7 p.m., which is the second Wednesday of each month, is when that committee meets. And this is a pretty standard type of topic or application that they would review in full. And so wanted to just kind of take a moment, introduce some of the faces that you guys will see on a regular basis through that committee in particular. Howard University is a phenomenal partner for this commission, and their entire university campus is within the parameters of 1E. And so they come to us a lot, and they do a lot of work in that particular committee. So if you don't have any questions today, that's totally fine. You guys, please, I encourage you all to go to the committee on February 12th and feel free to get in the weeds on it there. And then they will come back to the full commission based on the committee's recommendation. But I do see that Commissioner Howard has a question. So Commissioner Howard.
Yeah, just think again, thanks for this information. I look forward to reading more about it and learning about it throughout the process. Can you give us just a quick high-level overview of the timeline that's looking to be this? And because I'm assuming there's going to be traffic disruptions along Georgia on construction and noise, just kind of a sense of that timeline, and we'll have conversations. I have a lot of questions around mitigation of those consequences, but not here. We'll save that for later. But just curious of the timeline of this.
Oh, we are Leotti.
Yeah, I'll jump in. So thank you all for having us this evening. Timeline wise, we're in early design phase. We won't start construction till I would say late Q4. So everything you're discussing as far as traffic goes, Georgia Avenue, we'll be doing a little bit of pre-work ahead of that closing in Q4. So let's say late summer of later this summer is when we'll probably have a little bit of traffic impact on Georgia Avenue.
And how
And then
long
we're
is the project? Like when will it be done?
yeah, this is going to be about a 36-month project, so we're set to deliver in the fall of 2028.
And I'm assuming that's going to impact Georgia Avenue traffic. Obviously, I'm assuming, well, we can talk more about that later, but I would love at a later date to learn more about mitigation around that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still early in the process, but we're having conversations with DDOT to make sure we have a good traffic control plan in place and everything, but we haven't reached that level yet. These are things we're going to be working through over the next couple of months. So we absolutely will have, more information when we get to that point.
Thank you.
On that note, would you mind just maybe articulating like what exactly are you guys coming to the ANC in February and then in May? What is the zoning application consist of that you guys need our either support or input on?
So it will be, again, it's more like a design review. I know you guys see variances or whatever. We won't, it will basically be demonstrating to the zoning commission that we are in compliance with the programming approved under the campus plan. There may be one or two areas of relief I can't remember off the top of my head, but nominal, if any. I think one is like, we're not gonna meet the MU10 zone has a plaza requirement that we won't meet because of the Georgia Avenue has very narrow, like, public space in front of the building. We have been working with, for example, the Historic Preservation Office to maintain some of the facades, so that informs a lot of the design and limits what can be done in terms of, the building, where the building sits along Georgia Avenue and the front setback. So, but nominal in terms of, we're not seeking any areas of relief that would require any significant impact. And the abutting neighbors, even if we were, it's all Howard owned property. So, typically when you evaluate areas of relief, it's really to look at impacts on abutting property owners. In this case, Howard is the abutting property owner, so mostly internal to the campus in terms of impacts. Commissioner Footers, I may just
Please.
fail to acknowledge Commissioner Newland, who we met with, Howard's team met with early on last year, prior to filing. So I wanted to acknowledge him as a single member district representative for the public.
Commissioners, any other questions? All right. Members of the public, if you have a question for the Howard University team, please raise your hand. We'll call on you in the order that we receive it. I don't believe anybody is calling in through their phone, but just in case, if you're interested in raising your hand, please do so by dialing *9. All right, well, seeing none. Howard University team, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you guys coming ahead of the February meeting. Again, just as a reminder, commissioners and members of the public, the full presentation and opportunity to dive into the weeds on a lot of the application will be during the Zoning and Economic Development Committee, which is chaired by Mr. Michael Ray, and that's going to be on Wednesday, February 12th. At 7 p.m. and information on how to call in or join that meeting is on our website, which is anc1e.org. Thank you all very much. Appreciate your time this evening.
All right, take care. Have a good evening.
Thank you all.
All right. So next we will go to commissioners. Commissioners, any announcements? Commissioner Jacobson.
Thanks, Chair Footer. Just a quick announcement that I'm working on a rat abatement petition for my neighborhood. So if there's anyone that's near Banneker Park and wants to sign on, feel free to reach out to me. I'll drop my email in the chat, and I'll just say generally, if folks have questions about the rat abatement petition and you're not sure where to go, you can always feel free to email me and I'll make sure you get connected to the right person.
Commissioner Newland.
Thank you, Chair Footer. Just a quick announcement. Through our community engagement partnership with Georgia Avenue Thrive, our next neighborhood cleanup is going to be on Saturday, February 1st at 11 a.m. The intersection of Georgia Avenue and Morton Street. And it's going to be co-sponsored by Midlands. So anybody that joins to clean up with us for a little bit, you can get some free coffee, maybe some other beverages afterwards. But again, that is Saturday, February 1st at 11 a.m. At the corner of Georgia Avenue and Morton Street.
Thank you very much. Any other announcements from commissioners? All right, seeing none. Members of the public, if you are here to provide an announcement, or if you have a presentation or would like to distribute information, please raise your hand. We will call on you and you'll have 3 minutes. Again, if you are calling in rather than joining us online, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. I do see somebody who has raised their hand, and if we could leverage or pull Chelsea Walker up to the panelist. All right, Miss Walker, how are you?
I am good today. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I am Shelley with the Lower Georgia Avenue Main Street, and I just wanted to announce that we will be hosting our 5th annual chili cook-off. It'll be on February 23rd from 2 to 5 p.m. It's a little early, but the next meeting falls after the event. It's still free to the public, and if you want a VIP experience, we are selling tickets this year. So inviting all community members to come out and support the event, and it'll be at Sonny's Pizzeria.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Actually, commissioners, I'm so sorry. Were there any questions? I apologize. I should have asked your questions. No? Okay. Members of the community, anyone else that has a question or comment? All right, seeing none. Now let's move on to the Office of Councilmember Brianna Nadeau, Estelle McKinney.
Hi, everyone. Hi, commissioners. For those who don't know, I'm Estelle. I'm Councilmember Nadeau's Constituent Services Specialist. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday and congratulations to our new commissioners. So as we enter a new council period, Councilmember Nadeau's goals for this council session are closely aligned with much of her work that she's done over the past council period. So today I'm going to highlight a few key areas where we'll see significant movement this upcoming council period. So one key area of focus, the environment. So last week, Councilmember introduced a bill to establish a bottle and can deposit and return system in the District of Columbia. This bill establishes a beverage container deposit program in the district. With retailers, they can collect 10-cent deposit from consumers on every beverage container, excluding dairy, infant formula, and medications. Customers will return their bottles and cans to the store or container redemption center and get back their 10-cent deposit. And so consumers could also return bottles at reverse vending machines, which print out a receipt that is redeemable for cash in the store. So this program, which would be managed by a nonprofit funded by distributors, would be overseen and enforced by the Department of Energy and the Environment. And this bill comes at a really critical time where we're really trying to get waste out of our ecosystems. So this is really, really important and exciting bill. Secondly, improving neighborhoods. The Neighborhood Management Authority legislation will be coming later this month. Council members introducing legislation to create what we're calling a Neighborhood Management Authority, also known as a NMA, initially for the Columbia Heights and U Street corridors. So these neighborhood management authorities will provide support for local businesses, manage public spaces, coordinate human services, and promote public safety in these neighborhoods. This concept is similar to an enhanced business improvement district, otherwise known as a BID, but with more flexibility and more flexibility also in their revenue sources as well. So these authorities will have a publicly appointed board and will reinvest revenue, such as from the parking revenue from the U Street Performance Parking Zone back into the neighborhood. This model will allow for more tailored and more expansive services, creating long-term benefits for both residents and businesses in these vibrant neighborhoods. So stay tuned for more updates, and the point of contact from our office is David Menny, and I can also share his contact info for folks who might have like further and more in-depth questions. Next, so road safety initiatives. So building on last session's successes with road safety, Councilmember Nadeau is continuing her work on parking enforcement and road safety measures. So we'll be conducting oversight on two bills that passed last session, including the fake tags bill, which allows for the immediate towing of vehicles with fake license plates, which aims to address a growing concern in the district. Secondly, the food delivery traffic enforcement bill, which provides a framework for enforcing traffic laws related to food delivery drivers. And so performance oversight season will begin shortly, and the schedule just came out, which I will also send in the link below, so you all can be aware when those agency performance oversight hearings will be. And it's a really great opportunity to make your voice as a commission as well as neighbors heard by the agencies and departments. So lastly is next BOYB, which is an opportunity to meet one-on-one with Councilmember Nadeau, will be tomorrow at Meze in Columbia or in Adams Morgan, 6 to 8 p.m. And that is all for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
I do have a quick question. If you're
Please.
able to answer, will this new neighborhood management structure also be providing citation or enforcement? I'm thinking specifically along 14th in front of DC USA for vending. Just pure curiosity, no necessary position.
Yeah, thank you for that question. As of right now, I'm not sure if it's set to provide any kind of enforcement to the vending zone at 14th around Columbia Heights, but that's something I can definitely bring back to the team.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Members of the public, if you have a question for Councilmember Brianna Doe's office, please feel free to raise your hand. All right. Seeing none. Estelle, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you. Can you send the link that I sent to host and panelists to everyone? For some reason, my Zoom chat doesn't let me. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Estelle.
All right. So next is the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services, but I don't see Anthony Robertson. All right, looks like we have one of his colleagues. So if we can bring up Stephanie, that would be great.
Stephanie is being moved to panelist.
All right, Stephanie, if you can you hear us?
Yes, let me just bring the volume up, stand a little. Okay, can you hear me?
We can. Please go right ahead.
I don't know why it seems so far. I was hearing everyone pretty clear just a minute ago. Now it seems kind of far for me, but
We can hear you, so go ahead.
okay. So I plan on having a PowerPoint next time it'll just be easy to send ahead of time. But for right now, I just wanted to introduce myself as I'm Stephanie Advincula, the MOCR liaison. As you know, Anthony is the MOCR's manager. So there's two of us on the team. And throughout the time in the period, we will be switching. So sometime you'll see me, and then the other time you'll see him. So we'll be going back and forth. So for today, I wanted to just introduce myself if I haven't already seen you already when you guys got sworn in. I also wanted to just bring a few announcements that I know were just coming up to the table in regards to like summer youth employment, which is something big for the communities, for any of the youth that's in the area. Just to let you know that that will be starting. The application will open on Monday, January 27th at 12 p.m. I wanted to just point that out since I know that's something big in the district and it's something that we do focus. I also wanted to mention that if you do go on the site, there is another program. Sorry, can you hear me? There's a second program that's also for the younger youth. But that's all inside of the link, and I can forward that in an email to you, Commissioner. And I think that's all I have for right now.
Great. Commissioners, questions? All right. Members of the public, if you have any questions for the mayor's office, please feel free to raise your hand. Commissioner Jacobson.
Thanks, Commissioner Footer. I actually realized I had something. Stephanie, I've had some issues with trash and recycling pickup on the 700 block of Fairmont. I'll just email you after the meeting just to see what attention we can get on that. It's a little odd because the trash on the 2600 block of Sherman, which is the same alleyway, has been picked up pretty consistently, but it sounds like trash and recycling further up the alley just has been ignored over the past few weeks.
Is it just a recycling bin?
It's both trash and recycling for multiple neighbors.
Okay. In regards to that, yes, please go ahead and email me that because we're actually forwarding all of that to our director and just flagging it. We have noticed that, I'm sorry. We have noticed that that has happened within the ward, not just Ward 1, but just in all the wards. It's a scheduling thing. I believe they're kind of, I know they are kind of behind the track due to the snow and the weather. So the team has been trying to accommodate the schedule that they've been working with and also returning to the slide schedule that they provided. So every time I'm updated, I want to try my best to update you guys as well. I know whether we're pretty much straightforward with me and myself and Anthony. I know we like to communicate with you guys in regards to that. So every time we hear something, we want to make sure that you guys are also aware of everything in regards to the recycling and the trash, because so far lately that has been an issue. And I've actually, since I am always canvassing and also sweeping the ward, I've also noticed a lot of illegal dumpings and the recycling bins and the trash just kind of on and off in different neighborhoods and the alleyway kind of just as though I've been flagging a lot of the concerns.
Thank you. I'll follow up.
Commissioner Brown?
Hi, Stephanie. So I have ANC 1004 and I have the Kenyon Street bike lanes in my single member district. And I know that the snow was removed some time ago, but The lanes are still icy, and I was wondering if they could be treated considering the freezing temperatures.
My connection and my volume. So in regards to that, can I please?
You're on mute.
I'm having my connection issue. Oh, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So can you also email me that in regards to the
Sure.
bike lanes? I know that I've also noticed that as well. And I just want to follow up in who am I going to loop into the email to address the right department?
Okay, great. Yeah, I think the areas, the snow has been removed and is either between DDOT or DPW, but I'm not sure like who will salt them. So I'll send you that along with the picture, along with the photo.
And the bike lanes
Thank you.
actually terminate in my single member district. So they would need to start from Sherman moving backwards on Kenyon. So please include me in that as well.
Thank you.
And Water Street also.
Just everyone just join the
Sorry.
email.
I do see that we had a member of the public with a question. Can we bring up Michael Ray?
Michael Ray is being moved to panelist.
Mr. Ray.
Sorry, I didn't realize it was going to take quite that long. You didn't have to make me all the way. Thanks for coming. Good to see everyone. I'll chat more in a few minutes. But could you put on the list for you to swing by 3228 11th Street? It's a small residential building, and there are personal belongings out on the front sidewalk. Unclear to me if the resident left them there or if it was an illegal eviction because, you know, we're not supposed to put people's personal belongings on the sidewalk. But just want to make sure that we follow up on it. It's been there a couple of days now, but 3228 11th Street. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
All right.
But I have something I'll flag via email. So you'll see my email coming up to this.
Any other comments? All right. Hearing none. Stephanie, thank you very much. Got a laundry list of things, a lot of it pertaining to trash and salt in the streets, particularly bike lanes. And commissioners, please, yes, follow up with emails so we can give exact addresses and things of that nature, and we can make sure the mayor's office follows up with us as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. So now we will move. I know I did that a little out of order from what I said I was going to do, and I apologize. But now we are going to move to official business. So official business has been organized into, actually, let me share my screen again and pull up the agenda. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, great. So official business has been organized into our three standing committees. The committee chairs will begin by providing a brief update on their committee's activities from January. Then they will walk through each item of business and have 5 minutes per item to present. They'll take questions from commissioners and then audience members until a motion is proposed. So with that, we'll start with Transportation and Public Space Committee and Commissioner Jacobson.
Thank you, Commissioner Footer. This month was pretty quick. We just had a presentation on the Rock and Roll DC Half Marathon, and so I put together a letter supporting that, and we can review that letter in a moment. And then our next meeting will be on Wednesday, February 5th, so 2 weeks from now. Always looking for more members of the committee. So if there's anyone that's on the line that's interested in joining, please reach out to me. I'll drop my email again in the chat. And at that next meeting, we'll be focusing a lot on our goals for the upcoming year. So what we want to get done in 2025 and what we want to be proactive on. So.
And Commissioner, I have a member in my SMD who is interested in joining the committee, so I will forward his contact information over to you.
Thank you, Commissioner Footer.
All right, and I'll pull up the resolution. All right. Good.
Yep, and I was just going to say this letter is fairly straightforward. This is the I guess the third time that this body will have supported the Rock and Roll Half Marathon. It's a half marathon that cuts through portions of 1E, so it'll be on it'll be going southbound along 5th Street, and then to 4th and Bryant, and then from Bryant to North Capitol Street. They've been very good about making sure that the band only starts playing as the runners come, which is usually around 9:30 in the morning. And that's usually in Commissioner Newland's district. And I think they've been sensitive about moving the band and sensitive to noise complaints. And that half marathon will be on Saturday, March 15th, 2025. We'll make sure to communicate these temporary closures out through our mailing list, social media, and website too. I believe we also have Diane from the Rock and Roll Half Marathon in the chat if any of the commissioners wanted to ask her questions.
Commissioner Brown.
When will the notices go up from DDOT about parking restrictions?
Diane is rejoining as a panelist, so she can better answer that. Diane, the question was, when will the notices be going up from D? Okay.
They go up Wednesday. Yeah, thank you. I caught it while I was transitioning in. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, those will go out Wednesday. They're required to go out 72 hours ahead of time. So you'll see those goes up Wednesday night, which would be the 15th, 14th, 13th, 12th.
Thank you for that. And I'd love for you to put a link in the chat because I know folks will want to follow any road closures and bus reroutes. Yeah, detours. Yeah.
Everything's also in Waze. All the street closures, if people use Waze as a way to getting around, all the street closures are in for that morning as well. And I will put the link in the chat.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioners, any other questions? All right, I will turn it to members of the community. Members of the community, if you have any questions with respect to the letter supporting the 2025 Rock and Roll DC Half Marathon, please feel free to raise your hand. Right. Seeing none, if there are no other questions from commissioners, I'll now accept a motion to approve letter supporting 2025 Rock and Roll DC Half Marathon.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Second.
All right, the motion has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of adopting the letter supporting 2025 Rock and Roll DC Half Marathon, please signify by saying hi or aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying nay. Any abstentions? All right, the ayes have it and the motion is passed.
Thank you,
Great.
commissioners. And that link is in the chat.
Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to bring back the agenda. All right, Commissioner Jacobson, anything else?
Nope, we just have our meeting in 2 weeks, so folks can go to our website to get the link.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, next we'll move to Zoning and Economic Development Committee with Mr. Michael Ray. If we can just bring him up to panel.
Mr. Michael Ray is being promoted to panelist.
Good evening
Mr.
again.
Ray.
Happy to continue my work with all of you. And as the chair of the ZED, this month we didn't have any zoning commission or BZA cases. So instead we had a presentation by David Meny out of Councilmember Nadeau's office. And you already heard Estelle talk about the Neighborhood Management Authority legislation that they're going to be introducing later this month. If anyone wants to view that presentation, it was about 30 minutes long, and it was recorded and is on the website via our YouTube channel. It doesn't encroach very much into 1E, and it's primarily in Chairman Footer's SMD. But these are important pieces of legislation, and it's good that everyone kind of has an understanding of them. There will be opportunities once it's introduced for the commission to, of course, do a letter of support or to give some feedback, particularly about how they would be run, who would be on them. There was discussion about members of the ANCs being able to nominate folks to be on the panels, kind of helping in the decision-making process. Again, there was some discussion that it would probably focus more on the ANCs a little more directly impacted, which would be 1B and 1A in this case. But that was the focus, and then we answered a lot of questions back and forth in discussion. Next month, as you already heard, we're going to get this month. We'll get a further presentation and on the zoning application that you heard about this morning or this earlier today. So that is primarily what we'll be doing, assuming that I continue to be the chair and you all decide that in a little bit. But I don't know, does anyone have any questions about the Neighborhood Management Authority presentation? Then I think that's all I have, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Members of the public, any questions for Mr. Ray with respect to the Zoning and Economic Development Committee? All right, seeing none. Mr. Ray, anything else?
Nope, the next meeting will be on February 12th. I'll try to get an email out to all of the current members to make sure we have a current list of folks who want to participate. But I'm assuming that we'll probably have some turnover. And so if there are people who are interested, they can get in touch with me. So just get in touch with your commissioner, and then the commissioners can get in touch with me probably more directly. It's a little easier. And hope to see folks. It's it is a committee that will have impacts on the neighborhood, the way it looks and operates, and so more participation would be helpful.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving along. Next is Public Safety and Engagement Committee with Commissioner Newland.
Thank you, Chair Footer. Nothing to report from the Public Safety Engagement Committee from this month. We did not meet in January. So yeah, our next meeting is Monday, February 10th, 7 p.m. And encourage, especially any of the newer commissioners, if you want to join us and serve on this committee, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Any questions for Commissioner Newland? All right, members of the public, any questions for Commissioner Newland with respect to Public Safety and Engagement Committee? All right, seeing none. Commissioner Newland, thank you very much. All right, so next, we will now move on to elections of executive officers. In accordance with ANC 1E's bylaws, the commission shall elect a chairperson, a vice chairperson, a secretary, and a treasurer to one-year terms during each January general body meeting. Each position requires a nomination and a vote. Candidates for office shall be nominated by members of the commission, and commissioners are able to self-nominate. At this time, I'll accept nominations for commissioners for chairperson, vice chairperson, secretary, and treasurer.
Mr. Chair, I hereby nominate Ryan Footer for chair, Rashida Brown for vice chair, Audra Grant for secretary, and Josh Jacobson for treasurer.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, are there any other nominations for any of the positions, chairperson, vice chairperson, secretary, or treasurer? All right. Hearing none, with one nomination for each position, Commissioner Footer is elected chair, Commissioner Brown is elected vice chair, Commissioner Jacobson, Commissioner
Grant.
Grant. I'm so sorry. I didn't update the right part of my script.
Okay.
Commissioner Grant is elected secretary, and Commissioner Jacobson is elected treasurer by acclamation. Congratulations, everybody. Looking forward to another productive year. And then next, we will move to nominations for chairs of ANC standing committees and a new position known as the engagement secretary. So in accordance with ANC 1E's bylaws, the commission shall appoint committee chairs to one-year terms. The commission is electing to make the appointments during our January general body meeting. Each candidate shall be nominated by a member of the commission, and commissioners are able to self-nominate. Nominees do not have to be sitting commissioners, but must be residents of the commission area. So at this time, I'll accept nominations for committee chairs, and I'm happy to do Commissioner Jacobson.
I was just going to know, maybe it'd be a good idea just to mention briefly what our idea is for engagement secretary for the folks that are listening. As someone who was secretary before, it was a lot of effort to both take minutes and come up with the agenda, or put everything together for the agenda, make sure things are being signed and in the right place, and also communicate out the meetings. So the goal here is to separate out some of the communications aspects of secretary and some of the more logistical aspects of the secretary. And so the engagement secretary in this idea will be taking over more of the communications role. And we can chat more about that later, but wanted to at least make sure members of the public were aware of that distinction now.
Thank you. And to that point, it is a new position that we put into the SOPs. And so just to share some of the language specifically around it, to Commissioner Jacobson's point. So this position, this engagement secretary, will oversee all external communications, including public notification of meetings. They'll draft and manage public-facing materials such as press releases, newsletters, social media content, and commission website. Serves the primary liaison for media relations, coordinating interviews and public messaging with chairperson and appropriate commissioners. Develop and implement strategies to enhance the commission's visibility and public presence in coordination with the Public Safety and Engagement Committee, and collaborate with the secretary to ensure public messaging aligns with internal documentation and goals. So with that, I am happy to make a couple of nominations. The first for Public Safety and Engagement Committee, Commissioner Newland. I'd like to nominate Commissioner Newland. For Transportation and Public Space Committee, I'd like to nominate Commissioner Jacobson. For Zoning and Economic Development Committee, I'd like to nominate Mr. Michael Ray. And then for Engagement Secretary, I'd like to nominate Commissioner Howard. Are there any other nominations for any of the committees that are listed here or engagement secretary? All right. Hearing none, with one nomination for each position, Commissioner Newland is appointed chair of the Public Safety and Engagement Committee. Commissioner Jacobson is appointed as chair of the Transportation and Public Space Committee, and Commissioner Ray is appointed the chair of the Zoning and Economic Development Committee, and Mr. Michael Ray, I apologize, bad habits, And Mr. Or Commissioner Howard is appointed the new engagement secretary by acclamation. Congratulations, everybody. For just a quick note and reminder, per our SOPs, for the committee chairs, the roster for your committees is due during our February meeting. So over the next month, please make sure to develop those rosters and then submit it to Secretary Grant, and we will continue to go through that. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, having no other business before the commission, I'll now accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying nay. Any abstentions? All right, the ayes have it, and the motion passes, and we are adjourned. Before people go, just a quick note. The next general meeting of ANC 1E is Wednesday, February 26th. Yes, February 26th. Announcements and other information about ANC 1E are available at anc1e.org. That is anc1e.org. Please feel free to contact any commissioner with any questions. And with that, thank you all very much for your time. And commissioners will be following up with just some transition plans and helping to make sure that people in new roles are able to learn some of the aspects of what's going on. And I am going to also follow up about how we may want to be handling some of the performance oversight as a commission now that the schedule has been released. So I will be communicating with everybody. If anybody's having any issues accessing their emails, please, feel free to reach out. I've been in close communication with the OANC to try and help troubleshoot anything. So happy to support you guys if you guys need anything.
Great, thank you.
All right. Thanks all. Have a great night. And thanks for a great first meeting.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night. Thank you,
Good night,
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
everyone.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.
Bye.